Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman. Roll it, Bertha.
If we continue to put people into office, and that even means some of our skinfolk who definitely are not our kinfolk, such as Byron Donalds, who are going to continue to say that, the fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow, is this because you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that they're whitewashing you?
That's not very woke, is it? Of course, Crockett isn't the only Democrat who's opposed to interracial marriage, or else more Democrats would have voted for this one. Racist!
Why is that? We'll find out. Also, while the media fearmongers about Doge having access to our personal information, some of the IRS just leaked the tax records of 500,000 people.
Jasmine Crockett, in a bid to push her political ambitions forward, has once again drawn attention for criticizing her own community at a time when it could hardly be more ill-timed. Greg didn't merely respond. He struck back with full force, using every strategy available in the Democratic toolkit. His swift reply completely undermined the point she was trying to make, and what's even more striking is that he wasn't alone in voicing disapproval. People's frustration is real, and it's only growing louder by the day.
Did to prevent a deadly prison takeover like the one that led to mass casualties in Attica back in the 1970s. Now, some of these National Guard units are currently staying in the cells at these prisons in New York. And as of now, it seems likely that they'll probably be there for a while. Even though New York has offered to double the overtime pay of any correctional officer who goes back to work, it doesn't look like many of them are taking the government up on that offer. So how did we arrive at a situation where government employees are encouraged to complain on CNN about an email from Elon Musk, while government employees who say their lives are in danger every time they go to work are being ignored? It doesn't quite make any sense. And it's especially confusing when you consider the fact that ordinarily, the fact that corrections officers are refusing to report to duty at roughly 38 of New York's 42 prisons would be exactly the kind of story that the news media would be interested in. It's clearly the setup for a potentially significant disaster, and normally the media loves a story like that. And they especially love stories of government workers who are on strike because they say that they have unfair working conditions. And in this case, it's actually true that the working conditions are unsafe and unfair and hazardous. And yet the media isn't really jumping all over it.
It's almost absurd to watch the left stay quiet while Jasmine Crockett keeps fueling the controversy. If a Republican had said even a fraction of her words, the media would have been in a frenzy, covering it nonstop. But now the silence is deafening. Even more concerning, Crockett is starting to mirror a modern Maxine Waters. Loud, divisive, and seemingly more focused on spectacle than solutions. People are growing weary. It feels less like leadership and more like a performance.
Are around the fact that we are sitting here pretending as if we all are looking out for the Constitution, yet we are coming from completely different angles. So let me go to Professor Shaw. To be clear, which branch of government is responsible for interpreting what is and what is not legal?
Well, the Supreme Court, the Article 3 judicial branch has the final word.
So the judiciary is who it is. So it's not the legislators.
I'd say every branch has an obligation to interpret the Constitution. The final word comes from the courts.
From the courts. It's not the former speakers. It's not everyday people. It's not the president. I just wanted to make sure that we understood who it was that was responsible. And what is so frustrating for so many of the American people, the ones that are watching right now and otherwise, and the reason that they're outraged and scared is because what we see right now is a diminishing of all these institutions. Right now, we have a legislative branch that has decided that it intentionally would disregard their duties. They are not checking the president whatsoever. The only check that the American people have had thus far has been from the judiciary. And the judiciary isn't pulling this out of the sky. In fact, they are coming from basic reading of the plain language of the Constitution for all of those that are constitutionalists when we start talking about things such as what birthright citizenship is. But one of the things that I want to make sure that I get to, because there are deeper implications if we go down this rabbit hole. Imagine the type of world where the president does whatever he wants to and no one can rein him in. It's a world that right now many people are afraid of. Let me put it this way. If Joe Biden would have done an executive order for abortion, despite what the Supreme Court said, that would have been a problem. Imagine if the state of Colorado kept Trump off the ballot and other states follow suit. That would have been a problem. Or imagine if Jack Smith ignored Eileen Cannon and with the help of an activist judge decided that he was going to prosecute the sitting president anyway. The problem that we have right now is that if we continue down this road, then we will not have a rule of law, because we have people that are currently serving and they're saying things like, ignore the judge's order. What it means to have...
It's almost comical how Trump's jokes about a third term send people into a frenzy. The media and political elites spin fear after fear, acting as if he's plotting a coup, even though it's clearly absurd. Then stepping in with what's meant to be a sharp, meaningful comment, Jasmine Crockett only highlights how bewildered and disconnected some people really are. Ultimately, it says more about how easily his critics are rattled and out of touch than it does about Trump himself.
Fighting, but nobody's really asking you, what do you need to maintain that fight? So thank you so much, Morgan, because we in these hot Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot mess, honey. So yes.
With just one sharp comment, Gutfeld can shut down the conversation entirely. It's a true mic drop moment. He hits the point so precisely that everyone is left stunned and silent.
Crockett claimed her Hot Wheels remark about Governor Abbott wasn't about his wheelchair. Yeah, and when we call her a lousy hoe, we're referring to her skills as a gardener. Really? How long is she going to keep this thing that she wasn't talking about, the wheelchair?
Yeah. Come on, babe, you know you're full of and all that, Jasmine. I think what happened was AOC was like,
you guys, I need to triangulate and be serious now because I'm going to be a senator. So someone has to be a talking attention whore. Who's it going to be?
and Jasmine raised her hand and goes, excuse me, Congresswoman Cortez, I speak jive.
What it is, Mama.
My mom didn't raise no dummy.
With no one joining her or trying to engage Gen Z through all this chaos, she ends up looking foolish if she thinks it's all in jest. Gen Z is sharp, perceptive, and done with political theatrics. They're seeking real solutions and meaningful change, not just moments that go viral.
Her kind. From the 2024 election shows that Democrats are losing the youth vote with Gen Z. Those are in their late teens to age 28. Your dating group, Jim, are becoming, they're the most conservative generation in decades. Like 5 decades. Why do you think it is?
The same reason I joined the Teen Republicans when I was in high school, to make people mad.
Yes.
It's the only way you can make people mad.
Your teacher hates Trump, wear a Trump hat.
Why wouldn't you?
Yes.
And it's like, if you go along to get along as a guy, especially in high school, it's like, they tell you they hate you every single day.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats, all they advertised was like toxic masculinity. Like Tim Walz is so sexy and so is Doug Emhoff because they have flabby man boobs. And they tuck their testes in a little satchel and they put it in their foot locker because they're grossed out by testosterone. Aren't they amazing? And every teenage guy is like, no, I want to keep my balls.
Yes. I want to keep my balls. That is a rallying cry for America. Yes. Give us back our balls.
Indeed, they are transmitting the future in a way showing us what political life could look like if chaos and spectacle continue to dominate. Jasmine Crockett's repeated missteps, criticizing her own community at the worst possible moments, highlight just how detached some politicians have become from real concerns. Greg's swift, tactical responses in contrast show that voters are watching closely and reacting when they feel messages don't align with action. The outrage isn't just performative, it's growing louder every day, reflecting genuine frustration. Meanwhile, the media and political elites amplify every minor provocation from the other side, particularly when it comes to Trump's jokes about a third term. Fear is constantly manufactured as though the unthinkable is imminent, even when the scenario is clearly absurd. Yet when Crockett makes similarly divisive statements, the silence is striking, underscoring a double standard that only adds to public disillusionment. Even commentators like Gutfeld, with a single incisive remark, can shut down discussions, leaving people stunned. But it's clear that real leadership requires more than clever sound bites. Gen Z, perceptive and fed up with political theater, isn't impressed by viral moments or loud dramatics. They want real solutions, thoughtful policy, and leadership that addresses everyday struggles. No campaign ad, no flashy speech can truly capture the difficulties people face in daily life. If this self-inflicted chaos continues, we may not even have a functioning two-party system by 2050. One side could dominate effortlessly, not because of superior ideas or governance, but because the other side has become a caricature of spectacle over substance. The future being transmitted today is one where messaging, performance, and social media virality overshadow actual problem solving, a warning sign for everyone who hopes for meaningful political engagement.